So in this video, we're focusing on how to use the TI-84 graphing calculator to calculate this equation right here, which is the root mean square error for this given data set. Okay, so this video assumes that you have already entered in this data set, and also you have already calculated you have your prediction line in Y1, and also that you have calculated the residuals. So if you've not done any of that already, then you need to go back and refer to the previous videos and do that now. Okay, so in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we want to go into our list, where we have all our data entered. Again, L1 represented my X values, L2 represents my Y values, and L3 represents the residuals for this given data set. Okay, so now we want to first calculate the numerator of this equation. We're looking at, all we're trying to calculate is the sigma times the quantity y minus y hat quantity squared. What that is each residual squared, and then I add them all up. That's what that numerator means. So that's what we're going to calculate first. To do that, hit Stat, and then go over to Calc. And it's the very first option, one variable statistics. So hit Enter. And now we need to tell the calculator what list we want to find the one variable statistics on. Well, we're looking at the residuals. We're trying to take care of this for the residuals. So we're looking at list 3. So second 3, we'll pull up list 3. It should look like this. Now to tell the calculator to do all the calculations. Okay. Now, the number right here, sigma x squared, is the number we are interested in, because that number represents this numerator of this fraction. Okay, that number represents this number in the numerator of the fraction. So what I suggest is you write that number down. That way you don't lose it. So it's 18.1771. You might also notice that right here, this n, this tells you how many items are in your data set. So that's important to us also. So you might want to write that down. So n is equal to 6. So now we can clear out of this once we have that written down separately. And we can go ahead and start calculating this equation right here. We have the numerator. Now we saw that there were 6 items in our data set, but we want to divide this numerator by n minus 2. So we're just going to say 6 minus 2 is 4. So that number that we just found was 18.1771. And we're going to divide that by 6 minus 2, which was 4. This number represents the number inside of our square root, or the radicand. And I do suggest you write this down separately just in case you lose it. That way you don't have to go through these calculations again. Okay, so what that number represents again is just the radicand. This whole number, this whole fraction that's underneath the square root. Okay, so now finally our last step is going to be to take the square root of this number. So second x squared, and then what I like to do is just, you can either go and highlight that number and hit enter, and there you go, and hit enter again. So our final answer, S, this whole equation right here for this given data set, S, is equal to this number, 2.131730518. Now, if you were going to round, the only place it's appropriate to round is in this very last step. Okay, if you round at the beginning, it's going to throw this final answer off. So if you're going to round, I strongly suggest you save it for the very last step. And that's it for the square mean root error.